Hey, what's going on, everybody? I will be honest with you. I have been extremely frustrated with the politics for the last 6 months, the direction of our country, all of the problems that have been going on. And I've decided to leave. I've decided to hit the road. I just can't take it anymore. Now, granted, it's just for a couple weeks, but I need to isolate myself from this drama. So what I've decided to do is no CNN, no Fox News, no social media, nothing like that for 2 weeks. I'm heading out west. I'm heading to Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Colorado, some of my favorite places in this country. I'm driving. It's going to be about a 25-hour drive to get out there. Now, I'm doing something a little bit different on this trip than I've done in the past. In the past, I've gone out there in a camper. I had a motorhome 1 year. Hit the Grand Canyon, hit all the highlights, brought my Jeep and my motorcycle and all that kind of stuff. That was an awesome trip. The last time I went, I took my ProMaster van, which that van is like a tiny home. I built it up. It's awesome inside. It's very comfortable. It's got a shower. It's got a bathroom. It's got a kitchen. It's got a bed. It's got a lot of storage. It's a pretty fun thing to drive. But this time, I decided I wanted to rough it a little bit more. What I've noticed in my life is that, not that I live like a cush lifestyle, but it's pretty easy. It's very predictable. It's comfortable. I'm not really put in too many situations that are difficult, life difficult. Of course, I have the mental challenges of work and running my business, and I'm always staying busy with projects, so I physically, am in difficult situations. But what I want to do is challenge myself on a different level for this trip. So I've outfitted my F-150 into kind of a basic overland type vehicle. I put a rooftop tent. I've got a bunch of these plastic bins. You can see one right behind me. Loaded up in the bed of the truck. I'm towing a little 5x8 trailer that has my motorcycle, my Sur-ron, my little electric dirt bike, and my paramotor. And I'm just taking off. And I don't know exactly where I'm going to go. I don't know exactly where I'm going to stay. I have some general ideas. I want to hit some BLM land. I want to hit the back road discovery trail, the motorcycle route up in some of these areas. Now, another reason for bringing my truck versus my ProMaster is I want the four-wheel drive. I'm planning on getting up into the mountains, into some areas where the terrain might not be suitable for a big camper van. So that's kind of the challenge on this route. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I've had a lot of people ask me. I'm going by myself. I was going to bring my dog, but to be honest, I didn't want to be responsible for anybody but myself on this trip. I feel like that's another big reason for me to get away for a while, is to just be accountable to Adam for a while. No kids, no business issues, no friendship obligations, no anything. Just be responsible for Adam. Get out and explore. If I want to do this, I'm going to do this. If I want to do that, I'm going to do that. Now, I loaded things up very detailed, and I'm going to go into it more as I kind of explain about the trip. When I get set up somewhere, I will kind of show you how I have things set up. It got to the point where I had to label my bins and actually label what was in the bins on my phone, because I'm like, how am I going to find some of this stuff? It's just packed in there. When I've taken my camper or my ProMaster, I've got cabinets, I've got drawers, I've got things to kind of organize basics, like where do I have cups and plates? Where do I have food? Where do I have my camping gear? So hopefully it all kind of comes together once I get where I'm going. My trailer is packed up pretty tight. It looks worse than it is because I've got things where I need them, and it should be pretty easy to get what I need out of there when I need to get it out of there. So the motorcycle is going to be the biggest challenge, because I have to take the Sur-ron out and my paramotor out in order to back the motorcycle out. Now, last thing I want to go into is security. How do I deal with security when I'm by myself, when I've got some very expensive gear with me? I've outfitted my trailer with an alarm system. I've also got some really good locks, the type of locks that you can actually cut with bolt cutters. I have a motion detecting system on my Sur-ron and on the trailer itself. I've got an alarm system, of course, on my truck. I picked up a lighted alarm system, so it triggers, it's solar powered. The lights will be on. Hopefully that's a deterrent as well. I did buy some of those warning systems that have the cable ties. You can tie them to trees and whatnot. If somebody trips the line, it'll light off a little explosive. I don't know if I'll use those at this point. It really depends on where I'm at and how secure I feel in these areas. I want to get off the beaten path. I'm not a tourist destination type person. I want to get out and explore. I want to be in places that people aren't. And you just never know what you're going to run into. One of the motivations of bringing my dog was I've heard of some bear attacks and some concerns of bear, especially up in the mountains of Idaho. And I thought the dog would be a good deterrent for that. But that didn't work out. So I, of course, bought an additional can of bear spray. I did bring my .22 handgun, but also a 9mm with hollow points for personal safety. That's about it, though. I feel like I make pretty good decisions in life, and I can scope out an area pretty well and determine what's considered safe and what's not. The other advantage I have is I do have my rooftop tent, which is where I will be staying most of the time. But I will show you my build out inside my truck. I took out the passenger seat and actually built a platform bed so I can stay inside the truck. I do plan to do that on the route out there when I stop at rest stops and whatnot to get to Arizona. It's about a 25-hour drive. But I also have this as an option to stay in if the weather is really bad or I have concerns about just safety in a particular area. Better to be inside a secure vehicle than up in a rooftop tent. So there's a lot going on here, and a lot of it is just kind of throwing in, and I'll figure it out when I get there. The main thing is I had everything I need when I'm out there. So that was the part of piling in all of my crap into bins. As far as flying goes, I brought all my gear. I brought 2 wings, my Spider 3 and my Sirocco 3. I brought an extra prop. I bought a bunch of extra tools and lines just in case I run into any issues there. And I did buy a couple safety devices. I upgraded to a different Garmin navigation unit, a hiking type navigation unit. And I bought the Garmin InReach, the Mini, so I can text and use the satellite text messaging communication if I'm in an area with no signal. It will also help me, of course, if I have an emergency, I can use the SOS button and actually call out for help. So that gave peace of mind to a few friends of mine who had some concerns about just safety overall. And the fact that I'm flying in an unfamiliar area and I will be hiking in an unfamiliar area, it's probably a smart tool to have. So that's where I'm at. This F-150 is so much fun to travel in. It's so comfortable. I've got adaptive cruise control. I've got all the conveniences and comfort while I'm getting to my destination. One issue I had with the rooftop tent and towing a trailer was fuel economy. My hope was for 12 miles to the gallon. If I could get 12 miles to the gallon, that's 3 more miles to the gallon than I would have got towing my big ass trailer. And 12 is pretty decent. When you're putting on probably 4,000 or 5,000 miles, that adds up a lot. So far I've been getting over 14 miles to the gallon, and I'm hoping at 15 because I got pretty poor mileage going up through the mountains in Nashville, or between Knoxville and Nashville. So now I'm hoping for 14 to 15, but we'll see as elevation changes once I get out west as well. So pretty exciting trip. I will keep you guys posted as we come along. Right now, I'm still in Tennessee. Check in once in a while. I'm hoping to maybe do some flying tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on where I'm at. So let the adventure begin. I am
somewhere in Arkansas, somewhere outside of Little Rock, and I just wanted to go for a quick flight tonight because I've been driving all day, so I'm actually planning to fly or drive farther tonight, but I just needed to get out and get up in the air for a little bit, so I decided to do that. And I found this cool little spot here. I'm hoping it's not going to cause any issues with anybody. Once I get these props together. The one downfall of my setup is I gotta hook my props up each time, which is good in the fact that I don't have to worry about busting a prop, because that was my concern packing it into the trailer. But it does just add a little bit of time to each flight. So I've got a pretty nice area here to take off. I set my windsock up and you can see there's no wind. So I feel really good about that. Should be a nice launch area and land. I've probably only got about 30 minutes to fly before I gotta get back on the ground, but that'll be enough time just to have a little break. Just to have a little fun, get away from driving for a little bit. Then I can grab some lunch, or some dinner I should say, and be good to go. Now I think I'm gonna take the old Sirocco out tonight. Now, I don't mind talking to people. It's not like I'm some kind of recluse. But when I'm focused and trying to get set up for a flight, you know, I don't want to be thinking about other people, and I want to just enjoy the process and make sure I'm going through all my proper steps and all that kind of stuff. So I try to find a spot that's fairly quiet. Here is actually a really good spot. Unfortunately, there's a business right across the street. So you never know how curious they will be. I'm out here on some land that's for sale. So I'm hopeful I shouldn't run into any problems. I guess if anything, I could say, yeah, I'm looking at buying the land here. To get this wing in the air. Should do the trick. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna run into, but okay. Hell yeah! What's up, Arkansas? Oh, beautiful! It is gorgeous up here. Pretty nice place I found to take off. It is so awesome flying somewhere new. Like, just being able to get up in the air just at some random city, you know? Pretty awesome. It honestly didn't take me too long. Check for our friendly power lines. I don't see anything in this area. Just those big dogs up there, so. Hell yeah, baby! First time flying in Arkansas. Got this. You need to do a flyby. Okay, here we go, coming in for our landing. This is what I've been training for, right? So you gotta learn how to track your ground progress as you're moving, you know, because you gotta learn about deceleration, altitude changes, all that kind of stuff as you come in. So you can learn how to land and spot land, you know? This is feeling pretty good. Right over the trees. And just like that. Doesn't get more beautiful than that. That was nice.
Good morning, guys. Well, the stay in the truck wasn't too bad last night. There's always an adjustment period. It takes a little bit of time to just get comfortable with the setup, the mattress. You know, it's a tight spot, but overall it wasn't too bad. I stayed actually at this Holiday Inn just across the street here. I pulled into this movie theater parking lot this morning just to go over the rig and kind of get everything situated before I hit the road again. But I did have to show you this glorious sunrise. I don't know if you can see it very good, but with the trash can there. I'd actually thought about flying here this morning. Let me show you this pretty sweet field. So this big field right here next to the movie theater, the grass is a little bit long, hasn't been mowed for a while, but definitely a spot I could have taken off from. But the winds are not the most pleasant this morning, so probably best to just get on the road and get past. My goal is to get through Oklahoma today, and I've got about 15 hours or 16 hours to Sedona, so I'm going to tackle the majority of that today. Probably station up somewhere in New Mexico and then finish off the drive tomorrow. So let's get this truck loaded back up and ready to go. These shades are pretty awesome. I got a set that covers my entire inside of the truck, all the windows. It's got black on one side, and then the Reflectex on the other side. So depending on what you need, pretty awesome. Made my truck nice and dark last night. Like I mentioned before, the main thing with this kind of camping when you're packed into a space is organization. Putting things back in the same place so you always know where it's at. I've got door pockets on this truck, which are great for certain things. I've got, like I said, certain bins that hold some of my equipment. Things that I need specifically inside the truck are going to be in this one. Then I've got the bins on the outside here. 4 bins that are labeled. I've got a stand, I've got my grill down here, I've got actually a portable toilet, so I can use that in certain areas so I don't have to worry about digging holes. And you know, the whole idea is to leave no trace. I'll be taking my trace with me. I've got an LP tank, I've got my spare tire for the trailer. So anyway, I'll go through more of this and what's in these bins later, but just to kind of give you an idea. So this is the bed I built for the F-150, and I'll break it down a little bit later, but basically I've got a little over 6 feet of bed length here and probably about 2.5 feet wide. It does get wider as it goes up to the shoulder area. Now I wanted a bed inside the cab for this exact reason. Last night I just stayed at a hotel parking lot. I wasn't about to pop up my rooftop tent, so I needed a place inside the truck to sleep. I put all the window shades up, it blacked it all out, and I slept in here with no issues. Nobody knows I'm in here. It's secure, it's safe, and it's pretty comfortable. I've got a foam mattress underneath my sheet, one of those 4-inch foldable foam mattresses. I would say it's not as comfy as my nice mattress at home, but pretty close. It's just getting used to that sleeping arrangement. I did angle the bed as well, so it actually climbs up toward my head. I like to sleep in that position more. Plus, it's very rare to find an actual flat space to park. And knowing that it's already angled, if I coming forward and I'm on a slight incline with the truck, then I'm okay. It's not going to be an issue. I'm still sleeping fairly straight, if not a little bit of an angle. So it allows me to kind of pick and choose where I park versus I don't want to be having to switch over and my head down on this side and my feet that way because this side is much tighter. So a little bit of planning on that side. Pretty cool bed though, overall. Doesn't take up too much space. I've got storage underneath it and of course on top of it while I'm driving. So let's get this bed made. Okay, I think I got everything packed up. Before I get going, I like to do a quick walk around my vehicle. Make sure that everything is secured, tied down. No straps going to be flapping in the wind. Tires all look good. Basically checks that we should be doing on our normal vehicle. I did install this extension on my hitch so I can drop my tailgate while I still leave my trailer attached, which is pretty awesome. The chain's just reached as well as the plug, so I got kind of lucky there. I'll explain my cool water jug a little bit later. Tires on a trailer, they blow out all the time. You see the trailer sitting on the side of the road. I got some new tires put on just before this trip. Everything good, looks good. I checked the heat of the bearings last night when I was driving. So we're gonna walk around here. As you can see, I put some sheriff stickers, decals on my trailer to hopefully avoid issues while I'm out in the deep woods. This tire's looking good too. All my chains are connected, the lights are working, tires on the truck are good. I think we're about ready to rock and roll. Let's get this drive going. Now, before I get on the road here, I wanted to run through a couple things on the inside. One thing I've been very happy with, as you can see, I'm getting 14.3 miles per gallon. It's actually in the higher 14s, but I let my engine idle a little bit last night to cool it down in here before I went to bed. So that dropped my fuel economy, but very, very happy. 680 miles so far. Yeah, very happy with this truck. Over here, I've got my gear set up. I bought this cool little rack here, down here, that bolts to that little space up on the top of the dash, and it's very easy install, and it allows you to mount basically anything to it. So I got my Garmin's up there. My phone actually connects here on this holder. Now this is really cool. Having a trailer and towing something, you run into the issue of, man, I got my motorcycle back there. What happens if I hit a big bump and one of the straps breaks? So I installed this camera so I can actually see what's going on in my trailer. I don't leave it on the whole time, but I'll pop in on it once in a while to make sure everything's looking good. That works out well. Here I've got my bed set up. I throw a couple things on top of there. I've got my morning breakfast drink. I have that every morning, one of those Carnation instant breakfast. The no sugar, lots of good vitamins, good nutrition right off the bat. Everything looks good. I think we're ready to go. This trailer profile is awesome. It's just as wide as my truck, so I don't have to worry about anything sticking out the side. One of the reasons I'm getting the good fuel economy is because the profile is the same as the truck or smaller. So as far as additional drag, the only additional drag I really have is the rooftop tent. So, all right, let's get going.